What's going on, good people of the internet? It is time once again for Comics Unmasked, the podcast where a bunch of folks shoot the breeze and talk about comic books and such. We are back with episode 4 because episode 3 was earlier today, because that was something special that will be premiering alongside this episode. So you get 2 episodes this week. So make sure that you check that out. That was an amazing opportunity that I had to interview the writer of Mr. Terrific Year 1, Mr. Al Letson. So make sure that you peep that along with this episode. Like, pause this, go check that out, and then come back. But, like, we are back once again to talk about some of the books that came out this week, a little bit of news that came out this week. We're about to get hit with a lot of news over the course of the next few weeks, specifically because New York Comic Con is coming up. So, like, it'll be a little bit dry. We'll be, like, talking about some books and what's happened, but at the same time, we'll be talking more about news and whatnot as we continue on because New York Comic Con is coming up. So get hyped for that. So, to my left, we have the woman who slept so much and almost missed the show. Astro, how you doing?
I'm beautiful. Honestly, life is amazing. DC is about to have a panel at Comic Con. What can I complain about? Genuinely, what can I complain about?
Exactly. Then we have the man whose camera is tracking the wall more than him. B-Rax, how you doing, big man?
I am doing great. It has been a wonderful day. Got off work early so I can talk about comic books and anything comic book related. So I'm keeping everything positive on this filming day.
Excellent, excellent. So don't forget, folks, that you can listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, everywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can listen to this podcast. We will be rolling out the video version soon. I'm working with our logo artist to get little frames made up. That way we can have the video version be live for y'all. We're going to be experimenting with a few different things, so get excited for that. If you rate us on Spotify and Apple, it boosts us in the algorithm, so make sure that you rate us. If you can't find where to rate us on the Apple Podcast app, just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the profile, and you'll see the stars and how to do that. It's weird. I don't know why they do it like that. But regardless, let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing, we're starting with a juicer today, because I don't know who in the absolute office at DC is just, not even just the absolute office, just that who at DC has a Dan DiDio hate boner for Dick Grayson level hate boner for Oliver Queen at this point in time. But man cannot catch a break. Like, from getting canceled due to low sales to the mollywop that occurred this week. Oh Lord.
I had someone in my comments say, like, well, Oliver Queen was a billionaire. Like, what did you expect? And I was like, I don't know if it was this.
Nah, and like, it's like, spoilers ahead, obviously. Like we're diving straight into absolute evil #1. The idea that anyone is gonna say that, like, oh, Oliver Queen's bad because he was rich. Oliver Queen is the most, like, do-gooder rich person ever. Like, he is that guy that wants to make sure the little guy gets his due. He even says in the issue he's going after Jeffrey Bezos, I mean Slade Wilson, in the book because of his crimes and whatnot. Like, they make it specifically said, or like, is it Epstein? I don't know. Either way, like, it specifically said that Slade is a bad guy and he's gonna do something about it. And for him to go out the way he did was insane. Like, I couldn't. And what's so funny too is everyone was all excited, like, oh, we're gonna get Absolute Green Arrow. This is gonna be awesome. And then we're gonna get a mini series. It's gonna be super cool. Wow. I'm like, yo. Damn.
The one thing I have to add in on that is everybody out there, be careful what you wish for, because everybody wished for this. This is what y'all were asking for. You were saying Absolute Green Arrow this. I want an Absolute Green Arrow that. They gave you the Absolute Green Arrow, and it is definitely not what you expected. Hands down. I was excited. Everything that was going on in those first few pages of him in the training room talking to Roy, being like, I've got to do this. This is something I've got to do. I'm thinking it's going to come into like the middle of the thing. He's going to be busting in during the meeting or something like that. Something big's going to happen, just for them to be like, nope, here's his dead body. There's the joke for you. We're not playing around in this universe. This is not going to be something that we're going to take lightly, so you guys shouldn't either.
I think what drove me, and like I was talking to B-Rax before the show because I genuinely keep having to tell myself with the Absolute Universe that this isn't like Ultimate DC or something like that, like how we had Ultimate like Universe twice now, or it's just supposed to be like modern retellings of the universe, like how Marvel did. This is specifically just like modern but dark because of the fact that it's like a dark energy from the Omega energy that happened during that event. And now we have this whole universe where like Darkseid's energy is all throughout the universe, which is cool. So I keep being surprised by some of these takes. Case in point, the idea and the audacity for them to say that Ted motherfucking Grant the Wildcat would take a bribe and stop being a superhero. Like my heart
That was crazy. That was crazy.
as a loyal JSA fan, my heart was ready to box editorial like on Ted Grant's behalf because like Ted Grant is the definition of like Daredevil's dad battling Jack Murdock or like I just like the idea of you doing him like that just felt so wrong. Like he's supposed to be the guy that doesn't have powers that Italian. Like he's the Gran Torino of the like My Hero Academia in a lot of ways, where he doesn't have powers, but he's the old timer slinging fists, doing the damn thing. And they're like, nah, he took a bribe and opened a gym and he just died peacefully. I'm like, what? And for them to do so many weird deep cuts, like they said, oh, Wesley Dodds what was a thing, and then oh, he was killed, and now his nerve gas is being used by the government, and then oh, Iron Monroe was a thing. I'm like, I haven't heard Iron Monroe in years, man.
Oh my gosh. It was all so it's first of all crazy. My it came out. I've not been on my game the way I should be with comic books or with anything really. And I'm playing South Park Stick of Truth and my man walks in and was like, "Did you see?" I was like, "No." And then he just showed me and I think I laughed for like 20 minutes straight because it was so shocking. It was so like, oh my god, every Green Arrow fan mutual that I just had was just like shot in the chest like 100 times. Like that's exactly how it felt looking at it.
I 100% agree. Wednesday was a crazy day for me. I ended up going to work early that day, getting off, picking up my comic books, had to go get fingerprinted for the new job. And so I was laying in bed and I was reading the Green Lantern when you guys were like messaging and being like, have you guys read it yet? Have you guys read it yet? And I'm like, so I know which book's going to be the big book of this week because these two are popping onto my Discord so quick, being like, what are your ideas on this? What are your ideas on this? And so I'm thinking like, okay, Ollie's just gonna have a hard time. He was just going to have, maybe an arrow break. The plane went down on the way there. That's what I'm thinking. And then I come to like open up the pages. I'm like, this is starting off. Just to get to that one page, I shut the book for a minute. It felt personal. It really did, just because like you guys were saying earlier, he got canceled earlier and then this gets pulled up. I'm fearful to see what's going to go on in the KO universe at this point.
Man, and like I find myself so bothered because like I said, I don't know who at editorial has a hate boner for Oliver Queen, but this is rough, dog. And I don't think they meant for the book to get canceled right now and this happen at the same time.
No, but it's hilarious and I know someone was laughing.
Right, like it feels like the ultimate 1-2 punch, like straight to the jaw, where it's just like, y'all ain't having a good day. And it feels so bizarre. Like I will say though, as I'm like reading through this issue, like there's so many great things. The one thing that bothers me is this idea that Hawkman's your hitman. Like, The idea that
Oh
that
my
Qatar Hall. First of all,
Leave
this
the
would
man alone.
no, because first of all, this would have been the ultimate opportunity to continue the trend of making Hawkman black and giving a middle finger to people. Because to this day, the idea that an African pharaoh is like white in the main continuity bothers the hell out of me. But like but that for you to make him be a stark Republican dude who's like, oh, I'll take care of this. I'll share my secrets with you guys. Rah, rah, rah. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he comes in clad leather jacket, fucking guarded mask and shit. And he's like, body drop. Any questions? I'm like, nah, man. This is some bullshit.
It was rough because I'm planning to do a Batman Who Laughs deep dive soon, just because I think the assassination kind of the character and the point of it all pisses me off just a little bit.
May God have mercy
But
on your soul.
oh, yeah, whatever. And so reading the Dark Knight Metal event and kind of this like emotional turmoil that Hawkman goes through that like is so clearly tied to his freedom, obviously, and is
Yes.
so clearly tied to I don't have my wings. Like I can't do anything about this. And the torture of Darkseid in that scene of Barbados, of whatever you want to call it, is that this man sees it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. And so I think what was so crazy for me about the paneling was kind of just the drop of the
Yes.
body. And I was like, oh, so we've like not only like continued this kind of like, oh, Hawkman's not free mentality, but we've amped it up to a million.
Yeah. I think what I want to understand is why does he have two forms? Why does he have the like retro silver aged mask look with the like traditional brown wig superhero vibe, only for you to then flip over and do straight up like biker mice from Mars with weird mutant wigs up in here, like pole ass mace, but it's like a pole swinging around, and the symbol on his chest isn't like a hawk; it's something else. I'm like, what is that? Like maybe this isn't Carter Hall. Maybe this is something else. Like something's different here. I want to understand what this is.
So this goes on to my theory on kind of what we were talking about before the podcast. I think they're going to pull the Lazarus pit in. I think that's going to be one of the big things that they like may end up doing and like brainwashed him in some kind of way. I can see that, but I'm going off of more of like, because this is absolute. I'm thinking it's going to be more tied to like that freedom aspect that he wants is going to be more of a bigger push because he's so entrapped right now. But those are just two theories that I kind of have put out there from one comic book from this.
Right, and like I think what's even interesting is the fact that like if you look at the different version of him, it's not just the whole leather thing, but it almost looks like Black Hawk, like military. Like
Yeah.
it looks like Black Hawkish, and I'm like, you're playing into that thing that Scott tried to do with Kendra during Metal a little bit, but also look at how it almost looks like he's mummified under the uniform, like playing into the Pharaoh aspect. I'm like, there's multiple layers that I'm seeing here, and I'm
There's
wondering what
there's a
the
lot of
point.
layers that I feel like I did not see in Dark Knight Metal, like specifically with what happened to
Yeah,
him. Just because I think we focus so much on like the Batman of it all, and like when you think about the event, you think about the different Batmans and like all that and how that meant the Justice League and all that stuff. And even now, when I try to talk about that specific issue, I only get like Hawkman fans that want to talk about it with me, and I don't
I,
even think
it's
of myself
complicated.
like a Hawkman fan like that. It's like, no, guys,
Yeah.
there's something here.
There really is. I think the problem with it, and why I'm interested to see like a further discussion later about the Batman Who Laughs, is metal and subsequently death metal. I was so tired of Batman, dog. Like I was so tired of Batman. I was tired of Joker.
So yeah,
Like I
so was
love
the world.
right. Like I love Snyder to death. I will fight tooth and nail for Snyder as a writer. Like man, like gave me hope back when I first started doing journalism. So like I have a soft spot for him as a writer and will probably always be in my top 3 Batman writers solely because of the first few issues of his run when he would explore the architecture, when he would explore different things. But I feel like the problem with him trying to be like, hey, here's Barbatos, and then being like, well, okay, well, I'll do a little bit with like Dream and Hawkman over here, but Barbatos, and I'm like, wait, you're doing so much, man. Wait, you gotta calm down. And it just, it was so weird.
And that's why I have hope for the Absolute, just because I feel like we're a little more contained, if that can possibly even make sense, than we were when I see a Dark Knight's Metal, or even like her sequel sister. It's one of those things that's like, what pisses me off about the Batman Who Laughs is kind of, I was listening, unironically doing Fortnite research, because this is what I do now, and looking into the Batman Zero and all this stuff, and there's a Batman Who Laughs appearance that's like canon.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that's like, that's not what I took away from the event. What I took away from the event, whenever I think about the event, is how absolutely tortured of a man Bruce Wayne was through that entire fucking thing. That was awful. That was not only awful for him, but it was awful to read and kind of be like, oh God, like what could have happened?
Right.
What could have happened with this man and all this stuff? And so when I think when we get to like the Barbados versus the Darkseid of it all, I kind of do like in the Absolute that you can tell that Darkseid's not over it. Darkseid's not over not only the metal event, but the shot in the face.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's like, I understand the Batman fascination and the Batman kind of like thing that they need to do with the Absolute Universe, because at the end of the day, what Darkseid remembers is that man's holding a gun at him.
That's a very
Nope, I 100% agree. It almost feels like this universe was like directed specifically to make sure Batman has the worst time possible in his comic book run. And I enjoy that as a Batman reader. It's completely flips everything on its head at this point, because like we get to see the Bat being broken before. This is when we get to see the Bat start off broken and be broken even more, is how it almost feels like throughout this series.
It's definitely interesting, and I think one thing that I'm very intrigued by going forward is that, like, the idea that there's this, like, mini cabal of what we've known in the main universe to be the villains, but it's, like, Joker and Ra's al Ghul, and, like, now they're bringing in Hector Hammond, and I'm like, this is a very interesting group of individuals that you're, like, bringing together to sort of, like understand the larger mythos. And then you have Veronica Cale being like the governmental body, like of it all. Like I thought it was gonna be Waller, to be honest with you. If anyone.
And I think I would have been mad if it was Waller.
No.
I was thinking it was Waller too.
No, let me cook, because I like the idea of it. In every universe, there's one constant, and it's the wall. So if you're telling me the one constant in every universe is the wall, I'm like,
fair enough.
You know what?
Fair enough, yeah.
Fair. Like I could see now. Granted,
that woman is in every goddamn universe, and she will stop you no matter
exactly.
what.
Yeah. Now, do I kind of like the idea that we have a white Amanda Waller stand-in in a way for this universe, and it kind of exemplifies the sort of like the message. Kinda, yeah. Because if you notice, Ra's al Ghul's the only remotely brown member of this council, so it kind of has a little bit of message to it in a way. So I'm very interested to see how that plays a factor when it comes to this, especially because of the people they selected to be a part of this. Because Hammond, Ra's, Joker, like it definitely is interesting, the people they chose to be, and then the fact that they put Lex in the end. But we've heard from people that no, they're not going to put Lex in Absolute Superman. Was very interesting to me. This idea that we're not going to include or even make him go up. Like, we've kind of reached a point in Absolute Superman with Jason Aaron where it's like, no, if anything, Ra's al Ghul is the threat to Superman more than Lex Luthor is the threat to Superman. And I'm like, huh.
I
All
think it
right.
makes sense right now with Superman mainline. I think it makes sense right now with the movie that we just came out. I think it's like a kind of really interesting commentary that, like, yes, Lex Luthor is fucking annoying. Yes, a Lex Luthor is shady. Yes, a Lex Luthor is what you're gonna have to go through in order to make your public appearance known. But in a situation like this, is that the worst thing?
And like I kind of like the idea that like the immortal is going after the foreign immortal, where it's like the idea of you never saw another one like yourself coming from the heavens. Over like you literally have a man who was a caveman running up against who's someone who cannot die from another planet. It's a very interesting thing that I don't think we've ever explored in the main continuity. To be honest with you, like I'm in shock.
Yep. That was exactly like you hit the nail on the head with what I was gonna say. The only thing I have to add to that is I didn't know I needed a full bearded redheaded Lex until I flipped that
It's
page.
so hot.
Because as
It's so
soon
sexy.
as I
I've been
flipped
on
that
this
page,
wave.
as
I've been on this
somebody
Superman all-in
who is
wave.
a straight male, I sat there for a minute there and I was like, they're making bait. They're putting
He's
some
so
bait out for
fine.
the women in here.
He's so
This is
fine.
finally
I'm
nice to
sorry.
see.
I
I'm
I
sorry. He's
I
so hot.
so okay. Like maybe I don't like you would think me being the guy who prefers bearded men would be into the idea of a bearded Lex, but like maybe it's just I've seen Lex Luthor so many times in too many different forms.
Fair enough, yeah.
Like once you see Alexander Luthor from Infinite Crisis, you kind of just get sick of Luthor as a person. Like you like especially when you go from Alexander Luthor to a begrudgingly good guy Luthor during the New 52 and DC Rebirth, and then he just goes back to being a dick after that, and you're just kind of like,
No,
okay,
and then with All In, and they're like, okay, but like his daughter's here this time now. And
yeah,
honestly, at the end of the day, it's fun, and I think with the James Gunn movie, it's fun, and I'm not. For me to say, well, listen, I was on main saying Lex Luthor's hot now that he's played by Nicholas Hoult. I stand by my statements. I can't go back on them. But I also think it's one of these things that, like, kind of what I was saying before is like there's such a normalcy there. There's such like a, yeah, fuck this corporate guy. Yeah,
right,
fuck this white billionaire who can shave his head, look clean cut, and that's the essence of professionality. And I think I kind of like the rugged look just because we're not only like in a time where we think of like STEM and Silicon Valley and all this stuff, like our perception of those men are kind of really fucking different right now. Our
right.
perception of like what is quote unquote a smart STEM man or what's quote unquote a smart entrepreneur, whatever. Say what you will about the rise of whatever going on. It's changed. It's not the same. We look at Lex Luthor and we know that we have to be on edge, but
Hmm.
obviously.
Also, like, I don't know what it is about Absolute Brainiac that gives me the creeps, bro. But
Oh,
like,
he's creepy.
I just, I don't know. Like, I wasn't expecting Brainiac to be like, because I've had to gone back and reread Absolute Superman, but I find myself just being bothered by the idea that we're doing Brainiac so early. Like, there's so many weird
That's fair.
things that we've gotten in the Absolute universe already. Like, we're doing half of Batman's Rogues Gallery as his childhood best friends. We're doing Wonder Woman from Hell fighting like end times things, and she's also a Gorgon. Huh?
She is Hecate's daughter. She is the comer. She is the crossroads, and she is the magic.
Right. It's just and it bothers me so much that like none of this is mainline. Like I just, and I think
Welcome to the club.
I
Hey
like
everybody, it's so fun being a DC fan. Woo!
it's rough because I now don't get me wrong. Am I excited for DCKO? And I'm kind of excited for like the first issue to drop on Wednesday. Yes, I'm very
That's
excited about
silly.
that. But like it's fun. I think DCKO specifically makes me feel like my pitch for what should be done with the rest of the DC universe moving forward has legs because I really I'm like because I always deal
The
with people.
pair-ups are kind of crazy.
True. But like, I kind of want to I should have thought of that. I should have added that to the agenda. Us like go through the freaking breakdown. But like, I think my big argument that I keep having with people is, what if we just kind of revisited the concept of a Earth 2 in these
Yes.
DC comics, but instead of it being like a crazy Earth 2, It's just the world's finest universe. That way, the people who really want to dick ride Bruce Wayne forever and always and never have any progression in comic books, it's just the world's finest by Mark Waid. It tells those Silver Age, Golden Age stories over and over until they die, and you can just like make buku money off of that. And you can have a world's finest line where you have like a few different books here. They're like world's finest Batman, world's finest Superman, etc. But then
And they're fun and they're good reads.
right, and like they can't have serious stories sometimes, but the idea is to have like new jumping on points, but also classic stories for classic fans. But then you have the main line that kind of does what Future State was trying to do with the non-crazy books like Shazam, where it was just like world ending. But like you have the progression of comic books that needs to happen in a lot of ways.
No, I 100% agree with that. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of ridiculous, and that's why I made that TikTok earlier today where I was like, "Yo, at the end of the day, DC has not made me feel proud for my heritage, kind of in a way that like Marvel does." Because like, ooh, and scathing, hot, all of it, but it's like it's one of those things that's like, I love DC because I'm a fantastical girly. I love
Yes.
DC because I'm a Batman tramp stamp. I'm fantastical. I write fantastically. I think fantastically.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of I was talking to someone earlier today and I was like the Marvel continuation timeline is very, very scary to me. I think I'm gonna dive in one day. My League of Comic Geeks is gonna jump like 400 issues and I'm just gonna have to keep pushing. But it's also one of those things that there's
Exactly.
something to say about a Marvel being like, yeah, this is New York. Like what's good? Like let's talk about 9/11. Like, let's do it. Like, like no more pussyfooting around it, kind of thing. No more resetting it. No more restarting it. Like here, this is the history of the city.
Exactly. And that's basically what I was going to say because I'm a DC fan at the end of the day. I love what Marvel puts out. I enjoyed everything I've experienced when it comes down to Marvel, but DC lacks when it just comes to moving anything forward because I will get a taste of Static, I will get the taste of Blue Beetle, I will get the taste of Black Adam even, and then all of a sudden it's down the drain. We're
Right.
Yeah.
done with those characters now. We're going to do a universe reset. And then all of a sudden, I'm having to read how Bruce Wayne lost his parents for the 50th time. As a Batman fan, I love Batman. I will ingest
Yeah,
everything
like let's
Batman
go.
related. But I've already heard Bruce Wayne do this, Bruce Wayne do that. Bruce Wayne lost his money. Bruce Wayne got his money.
Bruce
Bruce Wayne
Wayne's a
lost to the
billionaire.
Joker.
Bruce
He
Wayne's
won to
not.
the Joker. Exactly. And so it's like at this point of time, it's like I need something new for Batman, which always gets me excited for Batman Beyond as an example, because it's a different story of Batman to where I'm not following this same canonical back and forth and
You
everything
just reminded me of something that I forgot to put
going
on.
on.
You just reminded me of something I forgot to put on the damn like freaking agenda. Can we talk about this weird thing that's going on in comic book Twitter right now, where
Oh God.
where the neckbeards are trying to say that Terry McGinnis is a better legacy character than Miles Morales?
Oh my God.
I'm trying to understand like what there was this really stupid thing that I saw where it was like where someone made a little derpy fan drawing where it was like reasons why Terry is better than Miles, and it was like, oh, Terry's a Chad, he's really Bruce Wayne's son,
Yo.
yada yada, and I'm like, what the fuck is this nonsense, bro? And it's just they do this thing where they're trying every way they can because like they try to say like, oh, the whole thing about Miles being made because of Obama and yada yada, and like I'm like, bro, this like it's so dumb, bro. I want to understand why neckbeards
True.
think they have a space in comic books because in all reality no one likes them in comic books other than
No, like
fellow
no, not even
neckbeards.
Terry fans are like appreciate this conversation, and it's one of those things of like I haven't seen Batman Beyond. My man loves Batman Beyond, and it's one of those things that like whenever I see fan reception from it and stuff like that, I hate the portrayal of Bruce Wayne in that show. I'm sorry. Whenever
Really?
I see clip, I
Really?
think it's listen. At the end of the fucking day, the mantle dies with that man.
So
I don't
like
care.
so I with it being very futuristic, I thought it was an interesting take. I don't like the idea of, say, Tim or Jason or Dick or Damien taking it from him. I like when they do a Terry or a Jay Spox, where somebody is taking the mantle and doing it their own way and not
Right.
having like barely any ties to this man. That's why I still think to this day that when Paul Dini and Bruce Timm did making Terry his son because of genetic nonsense, that was the dumbest shit they ever did. But like everything before JLU with Terry and
What?
Bruce was solid.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason why I say it is the Return of the Joker fight. The Return of the Joker fight where
Fair enough.
freaking like when Terry is goading Joker and he's like, "You're not Batman," and it's like, why? I thought you always wanted to make Batman laugh. It's
Right.
making the identity your own. And what's so funny about that scene in that thing is exactly why the neckbeards fail when it comes to the conversation around Terry versus Miles, because both of them make Spider-Man their own. And
Exactly.
and like one of the arguments that they had was that a lot of Miles's fights are just with recycled like Peter villains. And while yes,
That's crazy.
Well, like, and while to an extent they have a point that like some of it was overlap when it comes to Bendis and Ahmed, and like I think the only two we've gotten in Cody Ziegler's run is Scorpion and Hobgoblin, and even then Scorpion was being like controlled by the government and like a Suicide Squad knockoff, and Hobgoblin's like not even the original Hobgoblin, it's like the 50th Hobgoblin. So like it doesn't fucking matter. But even then, if you read Cody Ziegler's run, he's gone out of his way to make new threats, make new of a rogues gallery for Miles. So I'm sitting here like, y'all are literally the dumbest people on the face of the earth, because if you actually read Miles, you would understand it. And someone even posted like a joke about it, where they're like, how is Terry McGinnis better at carrying the superhero mantle better than Miles Morales? And Batman Beyond fans, Miles Morales is Miles Morales. And it's like,
whoa,
what?
Okay, well, okay, let's all be racist online. It's okay.
That's all they want to do is be racist.
Here's the issue that I have with that is when it comes down to like the passing down the mantle and everything like that, it also comes down to like how the audience and how the world perceives this character and takes this character in as well. And like I'm a Batman fan. I've stated that multiple times already on this episode. And like I love Terry McGinnis as much as I can. He did not make the impact that Miles Morales did.
Ooh.
I did not go out and buy a Terry McGinnis hoodie. I went out and bought a Miles Morales one. I didn't go to the movie theaters to go see a Batman Beyond movie. No, I went to the movie theaters to go see a Miles Morales movie.
Don't get me wrong. Of it all.
Now, if they put a Batman Beyond out, maybe, but all I needed to hear was Miles Morales Spider-Man. I'm in the theaters. You're going to have to get a lot more work done for people to go to the theaters to see a Batman Beyond, just because it's not going to have a Bruce Wayne in there. You know, like it takes that cultural impact to actually move something forward. I love my Terry, but you guys can't be saying that like Miles isn't going to be that legacy character, because he's proven himself to be that legacy character. It just doesn't need us black people talking about it, though. It shows by the movie reviews, it shows by the ticket sales and all that other stuff that's been happening over the 15 odd years.
And it's crazy too, because I even say multiple times that like the only problem with why, like the only reason why Miles doesn't take over the Amazing Spider-Man title is because Marvel knows the minute they would execute that plan and execute the future of the universe is because of the white whale fans. And people wonder, and people say, people say, what's a whale fan? A whale fan is somebody who buys books like ridiculously on brand constantly, never misses a FOC, never misses a pickup, where the Amazing Spider-Man Peter Parker fanboys who will shit their bricks if Miles Morales actually takes over.
In Marvel specifically, it's a lot more common, just because of like the number of issues.
Because they know the minute they would execute putting Miles Morales in the Amazing Spider-Man title, the sales would plummet, because they know that the white fans would lose their shit. And what's so funny, as I've said this multiple times, and Peter Parker fans will get mad at me, they had the perfect opportunity to execute the handoff during Slott's run. What do I mean?
Thank you.
When they have made it to where Peter had created, well, technically Octavius, but then Peter had Parker Industries. I
miss Parker Industries.
Like that, like there was the ultimate time there, ironically enough, to have a Batman Beyond situation where you give him Parker Industries. You let him progress into being an adult. You let him innovate and be a better version of Tony Stark. And then give him Mary Jane. Let him have Mayday. Let him kind of do the like future state Aquaman thing where Miles Morales grows up and be's the Amazing Spider-Man, and then let him train Mayday. That way, all the fucking Mayday Parker versus Miles Morales people can stop fighting on Twitter, because that's a fucking weird situation we have where there's these diehard Mayday Parker fans that hate Miles Morales fans, and I don't know why. But
which is so silly. Why don't we all get along?
Exactly. But it's like you can literally have your cake and eat it too, but freaking they don't want they don't want to make exactly. They don't want to make Peter Parker fans happy and just let him be with Mary Jane. And I swear to God, if those screenshots I saw are real and Robert Pattinson is Paul, I'm gonna fight somebody at Marvel. But like the but I feel like that was the perfect time to hand it off. But now we keep just spinning our wheels and not making Miles Morales be the Amazing Spider-Man. And it's going to get to that point when, like, 70 years down the line, if we're not all dead from Cold War, that we're going to be like, hey, it's time for Miguel to be the Amazing Spider-Man 2099. And then Miles hadn't even got to be Amazing Spider-Man.
I just had to take a run. You were talking, I literally had to go outside my car and run around. And no, because why I get mad at a Terry figure is kind of like the hype-based moments that can be born from a Batman Beyond series where it's like, I don't call myself that. And I feel like we kind of get into like this. We're losing something. We're losing something about the Batman identity. And that's why I say, and people, listen, you can at me right now. The mantle dies with him. Because it was his insanity that made it. Yeah. It was his idea of the city that doesn't fucking exist anymore that made it. The mantle dies with him. Cassandra Cain is not only an amazing, amazing Batman, but for her to take that role when this man croaks, and for her to make it her own and have this kind of like Bat family empire that you always wanted, that Morrison kind of hinted at, like this thing of like we are all connected here from the legacy and memory of him, the same way that Bruce does it with Thomas and Martha. And why I get so like about Miles is that, like, first of all, my Afro-Latino king, please hop off him. Second of all, I know people care about Miles Morales because I have never, as like a comic book fan, as someone that isn't a Marvel head like that, the conversations I've had of people like who in tears look at me and they're like, yeah, I love Miles. I see myself in Miles. Like ever since that the Donald Glover like thing in home, like all that stuff, like I've been here since day one.
I've had that comic poster since the original Ultimate Comics Spider-Man came out. It's been in my like in my room since then.
Yes.
And it's like for me, it's like I'm not even Afro-Latino. I'm a half black, half white. But even that has a connection for me as a biracial black person. Like that means so much.
Absolutely.
Yes. So it's like the misses we keep having when not just caring for. That's why I get so tired of the sliding time scale, because it's like you could be telling so many groundbreaking stories. Like I remember when what was it? When Tom Taylor was writing All New Wolverine, and you saw Kamala Khan as Captain Marvel. You saw Wolverine just be Laura Kinney. Like we had so much going on, and it was like, why?
It's one of those things that's like, I mourn Parker Industries as if I worked there. Because like I did torture myself with both Spider-Verse events. I was like 1, 2. I saw the movies 1, 2. Let's go. Lost my mind. Went head first into Spider-Gwen. Lost my mind even more, and I was like, oh, I think Marvel makes me sick sometimes a little bit. Like I'm a little dizzy. But the thing about Parker Industries and seeing that and kind of like going through this event where like Peter has that all taken away from him. And I open a Spider-Man comic, and it's still taken away from him. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think that's why, like, people still talk to me about Ultimate Spider-Man the way that they do. I haven't finished it. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I got to 6 issues. I think I collected 6, 7 issues, and
Just read it on Unlimited.
it's still the
Don't
way
buy
I
it right now.
participate. Yes, still the way that I participate in the conversation is like I'm there. Like I didn't read that much, and yet I'm still like, oh shit, like I got that taste of like, okay, well, what if he really was a Tony Stark and Iron Man kind of figure? Like, what if he tries to do what Tony did, but like obviously so completely opposite because of whatever egomaniacs issues that you want to give Tony Stark? It's like, okay, let's see this done humbly. And then the building blows up. It's like, okay.
Go ahead, B-Rax.
Mainly what I was gonna say is like how far Miles has come, just because like I remember the first announcing like, oh, we're gonna have a Black Spider-Man back in like 2014, 2013-ish is what it felt like, and we were having a class discussion in my senior class about like Spider-Man being black, how does everybody feel about that, you know? And I had to go up against conversations of people being like, well, Spider-Man's Peter Parker this, Spider-Man's this and that, just for us to now get to the year of 2025 that we can stop having the discussion of like who Spider-Man is, because I think a lot of people have finally been like,
Thank
oh,
you.
we can give Spider-Man the mantle of anybody now. There's the Spider-Men, there's the Spider-Women, you know? And now we've gotten to this point of like, who's the mainline Spider-Man? Who's the Spider-Man that's going to be like carrying the story on for progression of whatever story that they're telling?
Like,
And
whose
they've
cares?
given
There's a million of them in New York.
exactly. And that's the thing, is that we've had millions and millions of Spider people that came in, and like one of the first TikToks that I have is talking about the first Black Spider Woman that we've had, which was the first Spider Woman, which a lot of people don't even talk about. It ended up being the first Spider Woman was a black woman. I would love that to be incorporated, just for the Miles Morales movie to come around. Everybody gets all mad that there's a Black Spider Woman in there and she's pregnant, and then we have to have a conversation about that again, which feels like we've reverted all the way back to 2014 again on that same conversation of, hey, it's okay, we can have these people in these roles, we can now progress these roles to encompass more. Like you were saying, like we have a, what is it, the Sabretooth Laura Kinney that's going to be, or the Wolverine Laura Kinney that's coming out here in like a couple of weeks. I got excited when I saw that on the news.
Yeah, I just like I've kind of reached a point with Marvel and X-Men events where like unless it's like mainline 616 X-Men shit, I wait for it in trade. Like every time I see us do another X-Men Apocalypse thing, I'm just like, I'll wait for a trade because at some point it's gonna be in trade form, and I still have a little bit of saltiness towards X-Men editorial for not letting Hickman finish, because that tends to be a trend at Marvel where they let Hickman cook and then they cut him off before he can finish cooking. It's like,
and now Krakoa is always seen as the cult island, and it's like, well,
like, and look how cool Krakoa is now that it's like it's been pushed into X-Men media, i.e. Marvel Rivals, because you have a perfect like place where if there should have just been a back door where Hickman should have been able to kick Moira McTaggart out, like have Destiny off her or some shit, and us just have Krakoa, because it's a better origin, it's a better solution for the future of the X-Men, rather than it be just, oh, that's a thing we don't talk about anymore. Like, bro, do you know how cool it is that the Hellfire Gala was a thing, and they referenced that in Marvel Rivals? Like, that's so cool. And now we're like, nah, we're past that. I'm like, why? Like, what are we doing?
No, I'm still there. I'm still on that island, and it's one of those things that, like, yeah, it's creepy. Yeah, it's supposed to be weird. Yeah, you're supposed to read that and be like, oh my god, are we creating an ethno state? Yeah. Yeah, that's the point. You're supposed to read it and be like, oh my god, why would the mutants do this? And then you sit there and you're like, oh, I kind of know why the mutants did. Can I do what the mutants do, low key?
Right.
And now, like, especially in this political climate, it's like, well, exactly they left. And it's one of those things that's like, when we talk about a Marvel and stuff like this, like, the time is not only not given, but because of the way that Marvel editorial produces issues and stuff like that, I move on mentally so quickly than I do in a DC. Mentally, I'm still in future state, low key. I can't even lie to you.
It's, oh my god, bro. You just hit the nail on the
Mentally,
head.
I'm still there. The Nubia run, I'm still there. I'm in the book.
That's crazy. Go ahead, B-Rax, because you just hit me with a truth bomb, and I gotta process that. That's crazy.
Honestly, I was gonna move on because when you were talking about like people being more aware, one of the things I started seeing was like on Peacekeeper, all the flip on Adrian people have been doing online because he killed
Oh
like
goodness.
Peacekeeper's dad in the alternate universe and stuff like
You
that.
mean Peacemaker?
I have such
And
things
so like
to
a lot of
say
people
about
were,
this.
yep, and that really just got me heated because I'm like, yes, he wasn't the bad one of that universe, but just saying that, I don't agree with everything that's going on around here. I'm just trying to make the best that I can do about it. Kind of sounds very, very familiar to things that are going on around now,
Yeah,
guys. Come
Peacemaker
on,
is
like
cooking
this
it.
should be some listening points
No,
here.
and Peacemaker is cooking, and it's one of those things that, like, listen, I will be up James Gunn's ass. I will be in the barrel because I care. And at the end of the day, me and my man went to a comic convention and saw in a very private, personal panel the actor for Adrian and the actor for Judo Chop is the
Judo Master.
Judo Master.
Judo Master. Goodness, Astro, bad. Um, but the actor for Judo Master and Adrian were there, and it was one of those things where like it was so fascinating hearing them talk, you guys, you two in the audience, because it really showed me and my man as someone that we love Peacemaker season one. Like it's like kind of one of those things that's like kind of my favorite media at this point. Like Peacemaker, like whenever I'm sad, I think of Peacemaker season one and I put it on. And it was one of those things that hearing this actor for Judo Master Chop, wow, you have to stop. You have to
She
actually
said
stop.
Judo Master Chop. I'm fucking dead.
Everyone cancel me. Everyone call me out right now. Go ahead. It's okay. Goodness me.
Oh
Seeing that
shit.
actor, who, first of all, I keep saying Chop because he is trained in mixed martial arts. He has a very, very extensive background that was very fascinating to talk about, and him talking about his size and him talking about how he viewed strength and stuff like that, and like his culture, and that was interesting. And the way he was like, yeah, I bought every single comic of that I could possibly of this character, which is crazy because it's like what, two? Like
Honestly,
it's like
though, like Judo
it's
Master's so
it's
like his
not that long
appearances
of a
are so
publication
small.
history, but this man was so excited to not only show off his skills but to be able to hone it in such a specific way. And then you heard the actor for Adrian talk. And listen, at the end of the day, I think he is so hot. I think he's so talented. I no, he's an amazing fucking actor, and Gunn cooked on that casting.
Right.
But hearing him talk about like, oh, I came late, like that's not me in the mask, like we had to do a lot of reshoots and like all this stuff, and like he talked about how like, yeah, I'm funny, but it's because the script's funny. And I could tell that like I don't I didn't really get a sense that he understood Vigilante's publication history, but I sat there and I didn't really fucking care. I was so impressed genuinely that this is an amazing actor. This is a very, very talented, handsome man. And for him to kind of do this like tonal switch where he genuinely is like, if you think I'm funny, it's the script.
Mm.
If you think I'm funny, it's Gunn's writing. And not that he didn't care, obviously, that's crazy for me to say. But I think there was a kind of a disconnect there with like, this is my job versus like this is like what I'm passionate about, which we saw with the actor for Judo Master. Like this is like not only he's if he doesn't get this job again, he's gonna continue doing this at the end of the day.
Right.
And so that was crazy because it was like, wow, you onboarded this man that didn't need that much preparation. He had the script down because he's an amazing actor. And the energy that he brought towards and all this stuff that you see and that you love and Adrian for is Gunn's script.
Yeah. So we'll definitely have to.
Outrageous.
Oh yeah, and like we'll be doing a full like roundup of Peacemaker when it's over. Because like the fact that this last episode wasn't even the last episode is insane. You could have ended it there and it would have been insane. But like we'll definitely be covering.
Exactly.
Yeah, like we'll be covering all of it soon. B-Rax, I want you to give me the hottest elevator pitch of why people need to pick up Satanic Panic, because like it's 80 issues,
Yeah.
like 80 pages, but we still have 2 other topics, and I'm like, I kind of want to challenge you to be one of our first articles on the Substack to give a review of that. So like, give a preview and a hot bomb of why people should go pick up that issue from last week.
If you guys are looking for something to get you in the mood of the scary season, to make you go, what were these writers and illustrators on when they were making this comic book, I would definitely recommend the Zatanna Panic, because it goes through 8 different stories of Zatanna. You got Raven, you got Plastic Man, you've got a few other villains.
And Swamp Thing was in it?
And yep, Swamp Thing was in it, Constantine was in it, and like all of the artwork is different on each story, but the writing almost feels like you're reading one continuous story until you get to Ambush Bug at the end, and it ties all of the other stories together so perfectly. It's one of those comic books to where I thought I was getting a one shot of just different stories, and then once you get to the complete edition, you feel even more fulfilled for reading those stories. And I even took time reading this one too, and it took me like 2 days to get through because I was switching out comic books and going through work and all that other stuff, but every story stuck with me, which is amazing, because most comic books I will read it through and be like, okay, that was good, and then I'll have to go back and reread it a couple times. This one though, every story, the illustrations, the stuff that happened in it, it was stuck in my head this entire week.
Okay. So, you know, like,
And now I'm pitched. That was a good elevator pitch,
right?
bro. I'm
Yeah,
about to
no,
read
that was
that
great.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I try my best. I'm a really good hype man. I can't be the one on the mic, but I'll be the one hyping you up on the side with the mic.
Right, no, that's why I'm like that could be like a really good review to like our first review on the Substack. That's really solid. Like even if it's like a
Especially
week
for
late,
the
that'll
spooky
cook.
season.
Yeah, no. So yeah, that'll definitely be really dope. Okay, so Superman and Spider-Man are the next ones to get a crossover in 2026.
Oh my goodness.
First of all, originally this was leaked by one of my biggest ops in comic books, Rob Liefeld. So that pissed me off even more. But then we saw it slowly start to get announced and like confirmed, and I was like, all right, we just gonna make the Alex Ross painting be real. Okay, cool. And like they've had crossover in the past. They've met each other in the previous crossovers. But like I really feel like this new version of like Marvel and DC amalgam, whatever the hell you want to call it, I think they're starting with a clean slate. And someone even said on Twitter, they're like, "Hey, Spider-Man and Superman have history. Make sure you reference that." I don't think they're gonna. I think we're gonna see a fresh slate, kind of like we saw with Batman Deadpool, where yeah, you might get an acknowledgement of something like Super Soldier at the end, but I feel like this is a fresh start, almost like an amalgam prime kind of thing, where it's like this is gonna be the new stepping stone forward if we're going to continue these crossovers.
I agree on that. And something that I would like to see is that fresh start that they're doing, because you have a lot of new comic book people that are coming in. And those new comic book goers want to see a crossover, but they're not going to want to have to do the homework of going back to the early 2000s and
Yes.
reading something, and then the homework of going back to the early or the late 80s and doing something, and then having to get caught up
Especially
in
for
all that.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Especially for
Mhm.
Marvel, like no, like low-key now.
Like, don't get me wrong, there's great
Exactly.
compendiums, but still, that can be exhausting for new comic book fans to dive into that.
I'm
And
exhausted.
then something I'd like to see too is that if they do get to that point of like this Marvel and DC crossover gets so big that they do end up bringing that stuff in, to where you could have like, this was a crossover back then, and then here's the crossover of the future, and how these two crossovers have to fight and deal something out to be the ultimate crossover universe or something, you know? Like, I'm just
Right.
throwing money out there for Marvel and DC just so that way I can keep getting comic books. That's just basically what I want.
Okay. You know, I definitely feel like this is going to be exciting to see. I like that, like, DC isn't even hyping these crossovers up a lot. We're not getting crazy announcements. Like, yeah, there's variant covers at the wazoo because we're celebrating these crossovers, but they're not forcing announcement after announcement.
It's been
Just
a little
like
weird.
it's just like a press release here, a Twitter post there. We're not like forcing it down people's throats, and I like that they're being low key about it, because you don't want to make it like this
Fair enough.
crazy announcement where it's like Marvel and DC, Disney and Warner Brothers, yada yada. Like, nah, keep it low key. let it ride. Let it be something that people can go pick up and trade later on. Let it be something that is comfy, it's cool, it's collected. Let it be low key, because if you keep it low key and let the fans boost it, there's more potential for more later on, because the fans are the word of mouth, not the company like making a giant stink about it.
No, exactly. And I think like I mean the art's gorgeous. Like I
Mm.
walked into my shop, I have you all know I have one, and I was like, what if I just walk out with another? Crazy, crazy girl. And I do agree. I do agree honestly with the point of like I'm glad that it's chill just because like I think DCKO for someone that's not even following it and hasn't really cared, I'm like, okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like the announcements, maybe it's like whatever and what DC does and like Injustice 3 and like whatever. But I think there's something to how Marvel kind of advertises sometimes, and maybe that's the Disney phenomenon. Maybe that's something that's like kind of already always been, if you think of like New York City and how information disseminates there kind of thing versus an
Mm.
LA. Like if we just think like geographically, locationally, let's think about LA versus like a New York City kind of thing. And I think like I mean I got really excited with even just you being like let the fans decide because I think at the end of the day, comic was cool. The first one, the stuff. I was way more hyped for the fan art that everyone made after. I was way more hyped for the discussion after. I was way more hyped for the beat for the like. Okay, what does this mean politically?
Yeah, that definitely says a lot of things. So like it'll be interesting to see. So final topic of the night. Um, I made a video about this, but I want to open the discussion up because there was the announcement in the solicitations that not only is Malice coming back into the comics in the pages of Fantastic Four, but Hela is going to be made into the Queen in Black in the pages of the Null comic at Marvel. And for some reason, there was this weird discussion on Twitter and on TikTok of people who were upset about the Marvel rival synergy with Marvel Comics. And first off, are y'all dumb? Are y'all like as Gordon Ramsay once said, "Are you an idiot sandwich?" Because Marvel and DC have been doing crossovers with their media for decades now. Like I even made the perfect reference that Guardians of the Galaxy were like hard body karate, the like the most epic of stories back in the day, where it was space wars. It wasn't just happy-go-lucky James Gunn adventures. It was space wars. We are hunting down bitches. Like if you read the Dan Abnett run, like Peter Quill was a hard knock life having Boy Scout, only for him to just turn into Chris Pratt when the movie came out. And it was like, okay. So this isn't the first time we've seen Marvel and also DC do brand synergy. Like hell, Green Arrow during the New 52 was just written by the Arrow TV show writers, and it was one of the worst Green Arrow runs of all time. Like the continuation of Oliver Queen's horrible time at DC, but like
I
it's just annoying.
well, I was gonna say I don't think people really acknowledge that when that happens with DC because it's one of those things that like the CW shows are oh they're made by the CW,
Mm-hmm.
yes sir, and yeah they are like I watched Riverdale. I know ball. Like this is kind of one of those things that like yeah, I'm just turning it on. And like I can say whatever I want about Titans. Do I think this should be the end all be all for the Teen Titans? That's kind of crazy to say. Absolutely not. But
As a
it's
Teen
also one of
Titans
those
fan, you
things
just
that's
scared
like
me a little bit.
I'm sorry. I like Goofy. No one wants to be Goofy. No one wants the bad, and it's like I get it. Like these are but low budget productions. When you
Mm-hmm.
think of like DC synergy and you think of all this stuff, it's like, well, I don't want the CW and stuff. Like I don't really want. I think DC has had a very tight knit kind of legacy. Maybe it's because of Injustice, whatever. Say what you will. Of like, okay, well, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, and we're probably gonna stop. And the
Right.
thing about Marvel, like the MCUification and and like all of us kind of growing up with that is that we saw quality decline faster than we really thought it was going to happen. We saw kind of the talks of like, oh, the army has to review scripts for Marvel. We saw all this stuff that felt like, oh, okay. And then say what you will about the Disney Plus shows. I was talking to my best friend and we were talking about the Agatha show and she was just like, "Is that even Marvel?" I was like, "Oh goodness." I was like, "Oh goodness." Like oh gosh. Like I'm going to have to sit down here and explain to you, Billy. Like this is like kind of crazy to me because like you're going to watch the show and you're going to be like, "Huh? Wait,
Yeah.
who was that kid?" And it's one of those things that's like, I understand a little bit more from Marvel heads being mad of like, okay, well now everything's in everything. I think when DC fans do it, sometimes I'm like, okay. But I think with the Marvel Rivals of it all and why I honestly haven't jumped on Marvel Rivals is because like the early conception was just like, oh, this is just going to be like the MCU game. And that,
Nope.
like, to me, that's kind of
Nope.
crazy as we like see skins and we see events and we see all this stuff. And like, my boyfriend has it downloaded and I went through and saw like, oh shit, they reference comics. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit, they give you like all this stuff and like all these starting points. Like, damn,
Oh
like
yeah.
that's actually a lot cooler than I thought this game was going to go. And like, say what you will about the people who play it, but then we can also talk about Overwatch fans.
Man.
It's just one of those things that's like Marvel does this.
One thing I want to jump in there too is that, like, as a DC fan, once again, I feel left in the dust because I was playing Marvel Rivals yesterday and someone came on with a Gray Hulk skin. And I just remember that, like, the Gray Hulk comic just got released, what, 2, 3 weeks ago or something like that. That synergy that they have there just shows of, like, hey, we're going to try promoting our stuff in just small little ways and get that stuff out there. And it makes me mad as a DC fan because I have to scroll through pages of Reddit and Twitter and everything else just to get those crumbs of knowledge to find out, hey, we're maybe getting a reprint of Static Shock coming out, and like I'm barely able to hear about that versus Marvel throwing into their video game that thousands and thousands of people are seeing constantly every single day to be like, oh hey, here's a new Gray Hulk. This is now
It's the
priming
same
those
thing with the
people to go out
boxes.
to the comic book store and see a Gray Hulk comic book.
Yeah, and like
It's the same thing with the boxes. Like Marvel's crazy with it, and we can talk about distribution, we can talk about company, we can talk about all this stuff. It's a little actually insane to go into a comic shop and see an Emma Frost box
yeah, the
for
short
a
boxes are
run
kind
that
of
is now
wild.
continuing. And now it's like, oh shit, well, like if I get this run, now I can have all my cunty Emma Frost comics. That's immediately where my mind goes,
Yep.
not as only as a
No,
consumer,
I agree
as an
with you on
American,
that.
like
Well,
as a
like I
fan.
just I just ordered like a Blade short box to put all like my special books in, and it's like I love that Marvel has that synergy sometimes, but like it blows my mind because people are so upset about it when like
Right.
they've been doing this stuff for a long time. One thing that Rivals even does, if they have a comic book based skin, they'll even tell you like this comes from this issue of the comics. Like it may look a little bit different, but it comes from this issue. Now I will say there was somebody that brought up a really good point in my comment section where someone said that it feels weird to them they're bringing back Malice because the whole reason why Malice existed was because Sue had a miscarriage, and I was like, like I see what you're saying, but similar to how like they rewrote the Hank Pym abuse thing to be, oh, he's bipolar and we're gonna make his daughter be bipolar. I'm gonna trust that whoever's writing FF right now is going to have a good damn reason why Malice is coming back. So I'm putting a little bit of trust in them because I've seen that. Like, and what's so funny is, despite that rewrite about Hank Pym, they still won't let Hank Pym come near a comic book anymore, and it's so weird. But like, I find myself trusting that if they're gonna put Malice back on the front page of a book, they're gonna create a decent reason for
Listen,
her to exist.
listen. I I trust it more than putting a Wonder Woman on a front page. Sorry, this is the point I'm at, guys.
That's saying something.
Where if
That's
I see
saying
Wonder, if I
something.
see Diana on a cover, I'm not even inclined to pick it up.
Oh
And so
man.
it's like, it's shocking reading that comic. I did research on it when I was doing this whole like conversation, this kind of like run and deep dive that I do of like the returning of origin stories and like the kind of phenomenon that happens with a Harley Quinn, a Wonder Woman, and even like a Mary Magdalene, where it's like, okay, well, where are these stories and coming from? Like, what's actually the root of that and stuff like that? And I think it's really interesting to acknowledge that history. I think we're in a really weird time where nobody wants to look back, and it's kind of scaring me a little bit because we can only learn from looking back. And if they fuck it up again, be mad. Be so mad. Be so defensive of Sue Storm. Be so defensive of the Fantastic Four family.
Right. Like if
But
they
it's
fuck it
also like
up, be
having
mad. Let's
faith in
raise hell.
art. It's having faith in art, and it's like
Oh, she did. Oh, she lost it.
those things that like I really never do like that seriously. But I'll have people in my comments being like, well, "You don't even know what's gonna be," and it's like, no, you're so right. You're so true. I don't even know what's gonna be. But
Right.
with the Steve Trevor and the Diana story, maybe I was maybe I was kind of right in the whole Captain America Wonder Woman crossover. And when I see a Malice and when I see all these stories, I'm like, oh, I think there's a really interesting conversation we can have here about feminist rhetoric in the modern
Yes.
age.
Very much so. And like you kind of raised a really good point. We haven't even we've seen one solicit. We haven't seen the book. We ain't seen ish. Like if we have a situation where it drops and it's ass, cool. But if I see some out of pocket stuff, cool, have a reaction. But wait for it to come out. I'll even say when Trinity was announced for the Wonder Woman book, I was hot. I dropped a video that day and I was raising hell. But I ended up being right. So I'm not gonna say the people who are upset about Sue being Malice again I don't have a point. You can raise that point and you can be cautiously optimistic or just be outright mad. But if it's not what you think it is and like Sue is fine and there's a really good written explanation for what's going on, don't be upset. Let it ride. Like it's cool. So I hope that they give the book the way to breathe and let it be real because this is the first time we've seen this kind of synergy. And then I saw some people mad about Hela being the Queen in Black. That just makes sense to me. Like Null is like the god of death in the Marvel universe now because of the symbiotes. That just makes sense. Let it happen. Like I'm kind of mad her costume isn't as cool as the Marvel Rivals game, but like let it happen. I don't care. Yeah.
I feel like that just goes back to like the synergy and the progression forward that we like to talk about. Because if you guys have something set up so perfectly, like, you know, making Noel a part of like evilness and stuff like that, and then you have Hela, who is also evilness, it makes sense to have some kind of combination or to progress those characters forward in some kind of way together, you know? And that's kind of the thing. That's the thing is there's been so much set up in comics throughout all of the lifetime. Even before I've been born reading comics, there's been so much set up for progression to be there. And then they just really just go, all right, we're ready for that universe reset. And all they have to do is keep letting the ball roll because
Yes.
everybody knows these other characters. Just introduce us to new characters. I guarantee like half of those characters we will fall in love with. And then you can say, these are our new big three, or here's our new big six, or whatever you guys want to make it. You know, just keep introducing those new characters, and the audience and everybody who actually enjoys this stuff will boost that character that they enjoy into the limelight. So that way you companies know which ones to continue making, you know?
Exactly. You raised a really good point there. So we'll have to wait to see. Let's see them cook. So, upcoming highlights for next week. Obviously, DCKO. We will be talking about DCKO when that drops. We might do a subsequent thing later on, or just post who we think is gonna win later on. Just based off the bracket. I'll just be real. Like just based off the bracket. I feel like it's gonna be real typical and just Superman's gonna win or Batman's gonna win because I have no faith in DC in that regard. But like in general, as I'm looking at it, if I had it my way, there's only two logical people to win. Well, I'll give three. Three logical people to come out on top at the end of this book. if I had it my way and we weren't just going based off of dumb shit, and that is Black Lightning, because if you actually don't like just make him like weak because of plot, he's gonna wreck everything. Um, Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman's the fucking goat, and bitches out here with chainsaws half the time doing crazy shit. Or Captain Atom, because Captain Atom is a literal nuclear bomb and would wreck everybody if given the opportunity. Like there, yes, Superman has limits, but I feel like if this bracket wasn't set up to where Captain Atom has to fight two Kryptonians back to back, this would be a little bit different, because if you look at the bracket, he starts with Power Girl and then goes to whoever wins out of Giganta and Superman. And I'm like, that's kind of fucked. So like, if it wasn't stacked against him to where he has to fight two Kryptonians back to back, he'd have slayed everybody and then just fought Clark at the end. But like, that's what I would say is like, or Firestorm. Firestorm would be my backup pick if we don't want Captain Atom, but that's just me. But I don't know if y'all had any picks or if y'all did a bracket. I would want Black Lightning to win just to piss everybody off, but that's just me.
I end up doing the bracket. Nope, go ahead. You can go first.
No, I was just gonna say I actually genuinely have no thoughts, team. I've been talking about this. I have nothing to say, but Carol was rigged, and everyone should be as mad about it as I am.
What you mean?
Thank you. Miss the whole. I mean, just look at the Batman's gonna win.
Yeah.
And it's not even like going to. I mean, it's gonna be cool, and I'm gonna be hype, and I'm gonna, but it's also one of those things that's like, the minute I opened up the bracket, I saw my faves, and I looked, and I was like, okay.
I will say, whoever put Harley against Metamorpho, that's just mean. Like,
no, I was like, I'm kind of like sad, like I'm not even like mad as like a power skill. I'm mad just because like, damn.
B-Rax, who you got?
Yeah, so ultimately, I have Wonder Woman gonna win this all together, and then Black Lightning's gonna come in second. My third pick really
that would be my dream world.
Yep, and then my third pick was gonna be Zatanna, just because I saw her going up against Big Barda first, and then after that, she's either gonna go up against Harley Quinn or Metamorpho, and that's gonna be easy. And then the next follow up is probably either going to be Batman, Red Hood, or Robin, and she should be able to wipe the floor with all of them. But I know when it comes down to writing wise and popularity wise, they're going to find a way to push either Batman, Robin, or Red Hood in there.
Everyone buy the Zatanna special. Let's change the time.
Well, like,
exactly.
I will say, I really find it funny they put Batman against Star Sapphire, because in a perfect world, Carol's just gonna put that boy in a box and be done with it. Like,
no, like
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm upset.
Like, it's gonna be some dumbass like prep time nonsense, and I'm gonna sit there like, really.
No, or she's gonna have like something happen, or like there's gonna be something she thinks, and it's like, oh, Batman has the willpower, and it's like, I'm so tired.
Like he's gonna pull a lantern ring out of his butt crack, and it's gonna be like, all right, cool, let's pull up. And I've been like, nah, man, let Carol Ferris win. Carol Ferris is about to get so did dirty. Like, she already has to put up with Hal Jordan's white ass. Like, let Carol Ferris have her shit.
That's exactly, and like on my little thing too, I have her winning over Batman, and I had one person in my comment on TikTok being like, "How could you blah 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 blah? Yeah, I see that you're a Batman fan and everything like that." And I'm like, I'm a Batman fan, so you should know I'm thinking realistically here. I've read this stuff. I know this character more than any other character that's out there. It's Batman.
Like, I will say though, it does feel like somebody in DC was just kind of mad at some of the women characters though, because you look at like,
it's very targeted, low key.
You see Jay Garrick, Jay Garrick versus Cheetah, and don't get me wrong, Cheetah's fast, she's a cheetah, but like Jay Garrick's go outspeed her. Then you got freaking Harley versus Metamorpho, which just feels mean. Zatanna versus Barda just sounds fun. I will say it sounds kind of fun.
That was the one I was genuinely like, oh wait, I can kind of see this, and like I'm a little hyped.
Right. Then you got the meanest combos in Batwoman versus Cyborg and Batman versus Star Sapphire, and I'm like, what? And then just like
I looked at my screen, I picked Batwoman, and I just started to cry, and I picked Cyborg, and I put my phone down.
And then you
I
got
was like, I'm
Vixen
so
versus
tired.
Swamp Thing, and I'm
so
like,
tired.
why? Like, Vixen versus Swamp Thing just feels so mean for no reason. Or like
Mhm.
I was
super
like, girl, you don't got that. I'm sorry.
right. It feels like
I love
some of these picks were just odd.
Let's head to the bar together, you and me, Kate. Let's see some drag queens, but you're not winning that one.
Right. Like some of these picks just felt. I just I wanted to believe that some people could win this, but then I'm just looking at it like, what happened? What happened? But it's gonna probably be Bruce, they might have think logically and let Diana win. Like that's just the end all be all. Like it's gonna be Bruce.
If they do that as hype for the new movie, I genuinely the gun will stay loaded for the rest of my life, bro. Like I don't.
Like I don't want Bruce to win this because it feels so choreographed, but I don't want Bruce to win because of all the people to get a freaking crossover mini in the event, Bruce is fighting multiple different Batmen, and I'm like, you're just making more action figures for Tom McFarlane to make for you guys, and that's cool, but like I need this
And I'll
to
buy
stop.
them.
Like right, like because the redheaded one looked kind of cool. I wanted it to be like Battle for the Cowl, Jason, but it wasn't, and I was like, why? But overall, it was still kind of cool. I'm hyped to see how it ends up being. I hope the first issue just like ends with Bruce on the ground. That'd be kind of funny if Carol just whoops Bruce's ass, but we'll see what happens. But then from there, in terms of books for next week, B-Rax put me onto this. I didn't know about this. DC is rolling out more compendiums under the DC Finest label. I didn't know about that. And we're getting a full Milestone Static collection, which sounds amazing.
Yep, I am getting that picked up immediately. I went to my comic book store and I told them like, "Hey, order this one in, even if it takes an extra 2 to 3 weeks, whatever the shipment cost, I will pay it cuz this is the last in the Static Shock for me to complete all of the whole Static Shock series and everything like that, and it's in trade paperback form, so it's going to come very pretty in a giant book for everybody. I highly recommend you go pick it up."
And like it looks so good the way they like I don't know if they had Dennis Cowan take a recrack at some of like the coloring for it, but like it looks so and then like we had like my two indie picks. The first one is going to be Everything Dead and Dying. Number 2 comes out by Tate Brombles. Definitely look at that up. Captain America and Planeteers. That was like I think B-Rax put that series has been amazing. We're definitely going to have like David Prepos on soon to talk about that. But then there's a book coming out from Mad Cave Studios that I had no idea was coming out that I just found out about. Temporal by Stephanie Williams is coming out. Like the idea that Mad Cave is still publishing. I had no idea Mad Cave was still publishing books. So I'm excited not only because they got the license to Speed Racer, but the fact that they're doing new and original stuff and letting black writers cook. Hyped about that because I remember Mad Cave was starting to get some traction back when Panel to Panel was first a thing. And we even interviewed the head of the company back when that was a thing. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get back in contact with them about this, or if we can just have Stephanie Williams on the show because the book looks great. I know one of my shops is like gets Mad Cave, so I'll be able to try to grab it, or I'll at least buy it digitally because the pitch sounds amazing, and I had no idea it was coming out, but it's been added to my pull list. So hyped about that. Get hyped for that. I'm gonna try to like with the show we're going to try to do our best to try to highlight more indie books because that was something someone even said in my comments about the show. Like, are you going to talk about indie books? And yes, because I don't want this to just be the big 2 show. Like, hell, I even kind of felt bad that we were kind of leaning a little bit much into the DC show. But, like, I made sure to make sure there was some Marvel news mixed in. But I want to make sure that we talk about all comics. And I'm going to even, like, there's even a bunch of indie writers on TikTok that are, like, pimping their books. I want to start trying to highlight and interview those. So, like, we will have multiple episodes a week sometimes trying to highlight different creators. So definitely get excited for that. And we will be having more developments on that in the future. But get excited for that. Is there any other books that I've missed, kids?
I don't. First of all, call me kid again. Second of all, call me son one more time. Second of all, in terms of guys, if you want to talk independent, if you are a fan of a Zatanna, a Constantine, hell, even a Hellboy. Like if you're really into like what does hell look like? What is that kind of like maybe the Christian guilt, maybe the Catholic guilt, whatever. If you're not reading Be Not Afraid, I don't know what to do for you. I don't know what to do for you.
Is that a
Me and my
Boom
man
book?
tried to find Yes! Me and my man
Oh,
tried to find issue 4 and it was gone. You want to know why?
GS.
Because the third one was outrageous.
Oh,
I've been recommending it to people that don't read comics. I'm like, yo, I know you went through something with the church. Like, I need you to read this. Like, hey,
oh,
I know you went through something like with your child, with pregnancy, with like motherhood. I need you to read this. I think it goes through so many fantastic things that we are dealing with, at least in America, and like this kind of like white nationalistic, like religious view where it's like, okay, well, you fuck up and you do something, and maybe you have to get rid of it. Can you get rid of it? Or did you want it to be here? Iconic. Pick it up.
okay,
You can definitely find issue 1 or issue 2 because Boom has been, oh, it's been selling.
okay, okay. That just, oh, holy shit, that was a great pitch.
I was about to say we should put that on the Substack for the second pitch right there.
Yeah, okay. All right, that was a great way to end the show. B-Rax, what is your closing statement for the episode?
Closing statement. Everybody have a very positive week this week. It's the beginning of October. It's a new month. It's time for the scary season. So get yourself prepared. Get those costumes, those cosplays. Get the funness to come around because this is the start of the holidays and it's a party. That's why we get candy at the end of this month. Everybody get excited for this time of the year because it's time to spend with family, friends, and all that other good jazz.
Okay, well, Astro definitely had a great thing there. Is there anything else you want to add to that ending there, Astro?
I have nothing else. Happy October. Research all the wonderful religious holidays that happen in the month of October because it is very fascinating how it kind of all coincides and it can also get you more hyped for Be Not Afraid. But this month has a lot of religious, spiritual kind of connotation. So if you're not a Halloween girly, if you're not a dress up, if you don't do any of that, like I don't know, maybe get researching. Maybe get studying.
All right, all right. My closing statement is going to be: please make sure you go listen to episode 3 of the show that premieres alongside this. We had an amazing opportunity to interview Al Letson to talk about Mr. Terrific year 1, and it's not just to talk about the book; it's to talk about like black folks and how we exist in the comic book space, and also just nerd media and culture in general. Like the main thing that kept sticking with me after I got off the call was we as black and brown people, our existence is political. It's not just that when folks will say like, why are you always talking about politics? Our lives are political. So the idea that we have superheroes to look up to is political. It's always going to be political whether we like it or not, which means that comics in essence are always political. So make sure you listen to that episode and make sure that you pre-order your comics, folks. If you don't pre-order your comic books, your shop is not going to have them. If you need to like find a way, like say you don't have a shop near you, you're not lucky like me, and you have like 8 or 9 shops within 20 minutes of you, like I do. Like make sure that you are looking up things like Midtown Comics or My Comic Shop. Make sure that you try comicbookshoplocator.com. It will help you find a shop near you if you don't have one, or just make sure that you are trying your best to find books and pre-order them, because that's kind of the crux of what's going on with certain things like Mr. Terrific Year 1, where if you're not pre-ordering the book, there's not going to be the availability for it to be on store shelves. Like you have things like Batman, where Batman will always be there. Some books will not always be there. So make sure that you are pre-ordering your books. Because if you're not pre-ordering them, how the hell are DC and Marvel and other publishers going to know that you want them? But we will catch you folks next time right here at Comics Unmasked. Peace out.